The Helios Dominion's flagship, Eternal Dawn, emerged from hyperspace like a shard of crystalline starlight, its massive hull gleaming with patterns of energy that defied conventional physics. Admiral Kira Patel stood in the United Earth Defense Command Center, her dark eyes fixed on a holographic display as more vessels materialized alongside the first, each one a masterpiece of engineering that made Earth's most advanced ships look like children's toys. Primary vessel is approximately 12 kilometers in length, announced Commander James Rodriguez, his fingers dancing across the sensor console. Their energy readings are, sir, they're off the charts. The power signature from their main drive alone exceeds our entire Pacific power grid. Kira maintained her composure, though her heart raced. After 15 years leading Earth's defense forces, she had prepared for first contact scenarios countless times. None of those simulations had involved ships that could casually violate conservation of energy. The alien vessel's hull rippled with streams of blue-white energy, their version of a communications array powering up. Moments later, a figure materialized in the center of the command center. The hologram stood 3 meters tall, its form composed of crystalline structures that shifted and flowed like liquid glass. When it spoke, its voice resonated with harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. I am Grand Admiral Nexus of the Helios Dominion. Your world has been chosen to receive the gift of our presence. Prepare for integration into our empire. Kira stepped forward, her uniform crisp and precise. I am Admiral Kira Patel of the United Earth Defense Command. We welcome peaceful contact, but Earth is not interested in integration. We are an independent world. The crystalline being's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not a negotiation. Our resonance drive technology allows us to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. Your primitive defenses cannot hope to resist. In the background, Dr. Raj Sharma, Earth's leading quantum physicist, studied his readings with growing concern. The aliens' technology was incredible, but it relied on principles that might prove catastrophically unstable in Earth's unique environment. Admiral, he whispered to Kira, their energy manipulation system, it's maintaining quantum coherence through brute force. They've never encountered a planetary magnetosphere as complex as Earth's. If they try to enter our atmosphere— Kira raised her hand, silencing him. Grand Admiral Nexus, our scientists have detected potentially dangerous interactions between your drives and our planet's magnetic field. We request you maintain high orbit while we share our data. The hologram flickered with patterns that suggested dismissal. Your primitive understanding of physics is charming but irrelevant. We have conquered worlds orbiting pulsars. Your magnetic field is insignificant. As if to demonstrate their superiority, the Eternal Dawn began descending toward Earth's upper atmosphere, its hull now blazing with energy as it engaged its full drive capabilities. The smaller ships followed in formation, creating a display of power meant to awe and intimidate. Dr. Sharma's instruments began screaming warnings. The alien vessel's quantum fields were already starting to interact with Earth's magnetosphere in unexpected ways. Tiny fluctuations in their drive signatures suggested the beginning of a cascade effect that their brute force technology couldn't account for. Admiral, he said urgently, they don't understand. Earth's magnetic field isn't just strong. It's dynamic, quantum entangled with our core in ways we've barely begun to understand. Their technology relies on imposing quantum stability through sheer power, but here, he gestured at his readings, they're trying to force a rigid framework onto a quantum system that naturally exists in multiple states. Kira watched as the first hints of distortion appeared around the alien ship's drive fields. Their perfect formation wavered slightly, almost imperceptibly, but enough to confirm Sharma's fears. The Helios Dominion was about to learn that sometimes the most advanced solution wasn't the right one. All stations, she ordered, prepare emergency protocols, alert atmospheric rescue units, and power up the magnetic dampening arrays. I have a feeling our visitors are about to need our help, whether they want it or not. The Eternal Dawn continued its descent, its crystalline hull still shimmering with seemingly unstoppable power. But to those watching closely, the first hairline cracks in its perfection were beginning to show. Earth's magnetic field, dismissed as primitive and insignificant, was about to teach the mighty Helios Dominion a lesson in humility. Grand Admiral Nexus stood within the crystalline command chamber of the Eternal Dawn, geometric patterns of energy flowing through his translucent form as he observed the descent toward Earth's atmosphere. Around him, the ship's neural network hummed with the combined consciousness of his crew, each member's thoughts harmonizing in what should have been perfect quantum synchronization. The primitives grow increasingly insistent with their warnings, commented First Resonator Vax, her crystalline form shifting through shades of deep blue. Their transmission frequency has doubled in the past hour. Their concern is irrelevant. Nexus responded, his form pulsing with confident patterns. Display their latest message regardless. I find their primitive grasp of physics amusing. The neural network projected Dr. Sharma's latest transmission, complete with detailed analyses of the growing quantum instabilities. The human's calculations, though based on relatively primitive technology, showed remarkable insight into the complex interactions between their drives and Earth's magnetosphere. Fascinating, murmured Second Resonator Trill, her usually steady patterns showing signs of concern. Their understanding of quantum field dynamics is unexpectedly sophisticated. These readings suggest. They suggest nothing, Nexus interrupted. Our resonance drives have tamed the quantum storms of neutron stars. This planet's magnetic field is barely worth noting. Increase power to the quantum stabilizers. Let us show these humans true mastery of the fundamental forces. In the Earth Defense Command Center, Dr. Sharma watched with growing horror as his instruments detected the power surge from the alien vessels. They're making it worse, he reported to Admiral Patel. Their response to quantum instability is to force greater stability through raw power. Exactly the wrong approach in Earth's magnetic environment. Kira studied the massive holographic display showing the alien fleet's descent. The ships still appeared magnificent, their crystalline hulls reflecting sunlight in impossible patterns, but subtle distortions were becoming visible to the trained eye. The perfect geometric formations were developing microscopic imperfections, like the first spreading cracks in a sheet of ice. Their entire technological philosophy is built on dominating natural forces, Sharma continued, his hands moving rapidly across his console. They've never encountered a quantum environment they couldn't overwhelm with pure energy. But Earth's magnetosphere isn't just powerful. It's complex, adaptive. The more they try to force quantum stability, the more the system pushes back. Across the command center, Lieutenant Wei Ming monitored the atmospheric defense grid. Admiral, I'm detecting growing distortions in their drive signatures. The quantum fluctuations are beginning to cascade through their formation. At their current rate of descent, she paused, double-checking her calculations. They'll hit the Van Allen belts in less than 30 minutes. Kira nodded grimly. That's where it'll all fall apart. Their quantum fields will try to maintain rigid stability in an environment that naturally exists in multiple states simultaneously. She turned to her communications officer. Send one final warning to the Eternal Dawn. Make it clear that this isn't about their technology being inferior. It's about it being wrong for this specific environment. Aboard the Eternal Dawn, the first serious signs of trouble were becoming impossible to ignore. The quantum harmonics that normally flowed smoothly through the ship's crystalline structure were developing discordant notes, like an orchestra slowly falling out of tune. Grand Admiral, First Resonator Vax reported, her patterns showing clear distress. The quantum stabilizers are requiring exponentially more power to maintain coherence. We're detecting phase shifts in the outer hull structure. Impossible, Nexus declared, though his own crystalline form flickered briefly with uncertainty. Increase power to all systems. The Helios Dominion does not retreat before primitive natural phenomena. The order rippled through the fleet. More power, more stability, more control. But with each surge of energy, the quantum dissonance grew stronger. The ship's attempts to impose order on Earth's magnetic field were like trying to freeze a flowing river. The harder they pushed, the more chaos they created. In the Defense Command Center, Sharma's instruments were approaching critical readings. "Admiral," he called out, "they're about to hit the first major magnetic threshold. Their quantum fields are already destabilizing, and they haven't even reached the Van Allen belts yet." Kira watched as the first visible distortions appeared in the alien fleet's formation. The smaller ships were beginning to show signs of quantum superposition, their edges becoming blurred and uncertain as Earth's magnetic field forced them to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "Power up the magnetic dampening arrays," she ordered. "Alert all rescue units. When their quantum fields collapse, and they will collapse, we need to be ready to contain the cascade effect." She paused, watching the proud alien ships begin their unwitting descent into chaos. Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the best one. They're about to learn that lesson the hard way. The Eternal Dawn continued its descent, its crystalline hull still blazing with defiant energy, while Earth's magnetic field prepared to teach the mighty Helios Dominion about the difference between power and understanding. The first catastrophic failure occurred precisely as Dr. Sharma had predicted. When the Eternal Dawn struck the outer edge of the Van Allen belts, its quantum stabilizers encountered something they were never designed to handle, a naturally occurring state of quantum uncertainty that no amount of brute force could overcome. "Grand Admiral." First Resonator Vax's usually melodic tones had become discordant, her crystalline form flickering between multiple states of existence. "Hull integrity is. She struggled to complete the sentence as her own quantum coherence began to falter. Around her, the bridge crew's forms shifted and blurred, each existing in several probable states simultaneously. The magnificent bridge of the Eternal Dawn, once a model of crystalline perfection, now resembled a fractured kaleidoscope. Sections of the hull phased in and out of reality as the ship's quantum fields tried desperately to maintain stability against Earth's magnetic turbulence. Status reports flooded in from across the fleet, each more alarming than the last. Multiple quantum state failures in sectors 3 through 7. Resonance drive experiencing critical phase shift. Crew members reporting temporal echo effects. Grand Admiral Nexus stood at his command post, his own form now a shimmering cascade of probable states, each one reflecting a slightly different version of reality. The neural network that connected the crew was dissolving into quantum chaos, their thoughts fragmenting across multiple timelines. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Patel watched the crisis unfold with a mixture of concern and determination. The alien fleet's perfect formation had completely broken down, replaced by a haunting display of quantum uncertainty. Ships flickered in and out of existence, each one leaving ghostly afterimages as they struggled against the natural forces they had so arrogantly dismissed. "Their quantum fields are experiencing total collapse," Dr. Sharma reported, his instruments struggling to track the cascading failures. "The harder their systems try to compensate, the worse the interference becomes. It's like watching someone try to stop an earthquake by pushing against the ground." Lieutenant Wei Ming's voice cut through the tension. "Admiral, the smaller vessels are beginning to break up. Their quantum fields are completely destabilized. Crew life signs are fluctuating between multiple states." Kira knew they had minutes, perhaps seconds, to act. Launch rescue operations. All ships with magnetic dampening arrays move to containment positions. Priority 1 is stabilizing their crew's quantum signatures before they fragment completely. Earth's response vessels, looking primitive and ungainly compared to the alien ships, moved into position around the failing fleet. Their technology was simpler, designed to work with Earth's magnetic field rather than against it. Magnetic dampening fields extended outward, creating zones of relative stability in the quantum chaos. Aboard the Eternal Dawn, Grand Admiral Nexus watched in disbelief as sections of his mighty flagship began to dissolve into quantum probability. The ship's neural network, pride of the Helios Dominion's technology, was generating impossible readings as crew members experienced multiple timeline variations simultaneously. 10,000 years of technological advancement, he transmitted, his message fragmenting across quantum states, undone by a primitive world's magnetic field. Impossible. Impossible. His form flickered between certainty and probability, pride warring with the undeniable reality of their situation. Through the quantum haze, Earth's rescue vessels appeared, their magnetic dampening fields creating paths of stability through the chaos. The effect was immediate and undeniable. Wherever the human ships extended their influence, the quantum cascade began to stabilize. Crew members found their consciousness snapping back to a single timeline, their forms returning to normal coherence. The humans, first Resonator Vax observed, her patterns showing both humiliation and wonder. They're not trying to control the magnetic field. They're adapting to it, working with it. The revelation seemed to pain her. All our power, all our advancement, and we never considered. The rescue operation continued as Earth's ships moved methodically through the disintegrating fleet. Their magnetic dampening technology, developed through years of working with Earth's natural phenomena, proved more effective than the Dominion's brute force approach. One by one, the alien vessels were stabilized, their crews saved from quantum dissolution by the very primitives they had come to subjugate. In the Defense Command Center, Dr. Sharma watched the readings with professional satisfaction. Sometimes understanding the fundamental nature of a problem matters more than having overwhelming power to throw at it, he remarked to Admiral Patel. Their technology is incredibly advanced, but they never learned to work with natural forces, only to dominate them. Kira nodded, watching as the mighty Eternal Dawn, pride of the Helios Dominion, was slowly enveloped in the stabilizing field of Earth's rescue vessels. Send word to the fleet. Begin emergency evacuation procedures. We need to get their crews to safety before their ships break up completely. She paused, allowing herself a small smile, and prepare the diplomatic court. I have a feeling the Helios Dominion's attitude toward primitive worlds is about to change dramatically. Above Earth, the once magnificent alien fleet hung in quantum tatters, their crystalline hulls fractured and failing, while humanity's simpler but more adaptable technology worked to save those who had come to conquer them. It was a lesson in humility that would reshape the relationship between two civilizations, and perhaps change the Helios Dominion's understanding of true technological advancement. Commander Isabella Torres stood at the helm of the rescue vessel Adaptable, her hands steady on the magnetic field controls as they approached another cluster of quantum-fragmented alien crew members. The crystalline beings flickered between states of existence, their forms struggling to maintain coherence in Earth's magnetic turbulence. Extending dampening field, reported her second-in-command, Lieutenant Akiko Tanaka. Quantum stability at 30%. 60%, achieving lock. The shimmering forms of the alien crew began to solidify as the ship's magnetic field created a pocket of relative calm in the quantum chaos. Through the view screen, the once mighty Eternal Dawn now resembled a shattered mirror, its crystalline sections existing in multiple places simultaneously. The ship's quantum drive continued to pulse with enormous power, each surge making the situation worse as it fought against the natural order of Earth's magnetic field. This is Commander Torres to Eternal Dawn, Isabella broadcast. Your ship's quantum field is critically unstable. You must power down your drives immediately. We can provide stable transport for your crew, but only if you stop fighting against our planet's natural resonance. In the Defense Command Center, Admiral Patel coordinated the massive rescue operation. Dozens of Earth vessels moved through the disintegrating alien fleet, their magnetic dampening fields creating safe zones where the Helios Dominion's crew could be evacuated. Rescue Fleet reports 40% of alien crew now stabilized and in transport, Lieutenant Wai Ming announced. But the Eternal Dawn's command staff is still refusing to power down their drives. Dr. Sharma's instruments painted an increasingly dire picture. The quantum cascade is accelerating. Their drive's attempts to maintain stability are creating a feedback loop with our magnetosphere. At this rate, he paused, rechecking his calculations. We have maybe 20 minutes before total quantum dissolution of their flagship. Aboard the Eternal Dawn, Grand Admiral Nexus watched as his mighty fleet crumbled around him. The neural network was filled with the chaotic thoughts of his crew as they experienced multiple timeline variations simultaneously. Through the quantum haze, he observed Earth's rescue ships methodically saving his people using technology he had dismissed as primitive. First resonator, he transmitted, his message splitting across probability states. Explain how their simple magnetic fields are achieving what our quantum stabilizers cannot. Vax's form had partially stabilized thanks to a nearby Earth vessel. They're not trying to impose order on chaos. Admiral, their technology. It flows with the natural quantum states of their world. We've been trying to force a single reality where multiple states naturally exist. The more power we apply, the more we disrupt the natural order. Nexus finished, finally understanding. In that moment of clarity, he made the hardest decision of his 10,000-year career. This is Grand Admiral Nexus to all Helios Dominion vessels. Power down quantum drives. Accept assistance from Earth vessels. That's an order. The effect was immediate. As the alien ships shut down their reality warping drives, Earth's rescue fleet moved in with practiced efficiency. Their magnetic dampening fields, designed to work in harmony with the planet's natural quantum states, created stable zones where the crystalline crew could be safely transported. Commander Torres watched from the Adaptable's bridge as the quantum cascade began to slow. All rescue teams prioritize crew extraction. These ships are going to break up when the last of their quantum fields fail. Her crew worked tirelessly, guided by years of experience in Earth's complex magnetic environment. The rescue operation became a dance of precision and adaptation. Earth's ships, looking almost primitive next to the advanced alien vessels, demonstrated a deep understanding of their environment that no amount of raw power could match. The Helios Dominion's crew, used to dominating natural forces, found themselves humbled by humans who had learned to work with them instead. In the Defense Command Center, Admiral Patel received the first direct communication from Grand Admiral Nexus that wasn't fractured across quantum states. Admiral Patel, his voice carried the weight of revelation. It seems we have much to learn from Earth. Your people's understanding of working with natural forces rather than against them. This is a wisdom we had forgotten in our pursuit of power. Kira allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the right one. Grand Admiral, Earth's magnetosphere is complex and dynamic. We learned long ago that trying to impose our will on it only leads to failure. We adapted, learned to dance with the quantum chaos rather than cage it. Above them, the mighty ships of the Helios Dominion continued to break apart, their quantum fields dissolving into probability cascades. But their crews were safe, rescued by humans who understood that true mastery of nature came not from domination, but from harmony. As the last crystalline crew members were evacuated to safety, humanity had demonstrated a truth that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of technological advancement. Sometimes, the simplest solution, born of necessity and understanding, could triumph over even the most advanced technology. 1 month after the quantum cascade incident, the temporary Earth embassy aboard the orbital station Unity hosted an unprecedented gathering. The crystalline forms of the Helios Dominion's leadership stood alongside human officials, their shapes now stable thanks to specially designed magnetic field generators that worked in harmony with Earth's natural quantum states. Grand Admiral Nexus, his form deliberately dimmed from its usual brilliant display, addressed the assembled representatives. For 10,000 years, the Helios Dominion has measured civilization by its ability to impose order on the universe. We saw power as the ability to force reality to conform to our will. He paused, his patterns shifting to indicate deep reflection. We were wrong. Admiral Patel stood beside him, her presence a symbol of the remarkable change in relations between their peoples. The rescue operation had saved over 12,000 crystalline beings from quantum dissolution, using technology that the Dominion had initially dismissed as primitive. The incident above Earth has forced us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about technological advancement. Nexus continued. Your people's approach to working with natural forces rather than against them. It represents a wisdom we had lost in our rush to dominate the cosmos. In the station's research wing, Dr. Sharma worked alongside First Resonator Vax, their teams combining Earth's understanding of magnetic field dynamics with the Dominion's quantum engineering expertise. Holographic displays showed their first joint project, a new type of drive system that would allow the crystalline beings to safely navigate Earth's magnetic field. The key was never about power, Vax explained to a group of visiting scientists, her patterns showing excitement. Earth's magnetosphere taught us that some natural phenomena are meant to exist in multiple states simultaneously. True advancement lies in understanding and adapting to this reality, not fighting against it. The remains of the Eternal Dawn and its fleet have been carefully collected, their crystalline fragments preserved for study. But more valuable than the physical artifacts was the philosophical shift their destruction had triggered throughout the Dominion. Across 12 star systems, their civilization began re-examining its approach to technological development. Commander Torres, now heading the Joint Earth-Dominion Adaptation Project, stood at a viewport watching transport ships move between the station and Earth. Each vessel carried both human and crystalline crew members, their technologies blending in ways that would have seemed impossible just weeks ago. We're seeing similar magnetic field complexities in other star systems, she reported to Admiral Paddle during their daily briefing. The Dominion's brute force approach worked in less dynamic environments, but they've identified at least 30 worlds they previously dismissed as too primitive that might harbor similar quantum characteristics to Earth. And each one represents an opportunity, Kira responded, not for conquest, but for learning. Their empire was built on the idea of technological superiority. Now they're discovering that true advancement sometimes means stepping back and understanding rather than overwhelming. In the station's diplomatic quarter, new agreements were being forged. The Helios Dominion, humbled but enlightened, proposed a revolutionary change in their approach to other civilizations. Instead of measuring worlds by their ability to impose order on nature, they would evaluate them by their understanding of working within natural systems. Earth has shown us that there are as many paths to advancement as there are worlds in the galaxy, Grand Admiral Nexus declared in his final address before departing for the Dominion capital. Our failure in your skies has become our greatest success. It has taught us to listen to the universe rather than shout it down with power. The quantum cascade incident above Earth marked more than just a tactical failure of advanced technology. It represented a fundamental shift in how an ancient civilization viewed its relationship with the cosmos. The Helios Dominion, masters of 12 star systems, had learned humility from a single world they had planned to subjugate. As the sun set on another Earth day, its magnetic field continuing its complex dance with quantum probability, both humans and crystalline beings looked to the stars with new perspective. The future would not be shaped by those who wielded the most power, but by those who best understood how to work in harmony with the fundamental forces of reality. The lesson of the unstoppable alien vessels that crumbled in Earth's skies would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. True mastery comes not from dominating nature, but from learning to dance with its chaos.